getting pretty aggressive on, as we saw in the last matchup, and we'll see if it's going to follow suit here. With Team Reciprocity, once again, I expect that to happen. Is Loin banned? Yes, Laxing. Loin is banned. He means lion. Spell checks. Anyways, Glass going to be the first ban there from Team Reciprocity, and we'll see exactly what Guerrillas wants to try and pull away. Oh, it's going to be Ying. Okay, so trying to get rid of some of that aggressive potential of Team Reciprocity, but I highly doubt that that halts them in any fact of that fluid gameplay that they're so well known for.
Yeah, I mean, we were seeing members only try to use it for probably the same reasons that we'd see Reciprocity try to use it, to just play more into those aggressive pushes, and it didn't really end up working out too well for them. It was pretty easy to set up, but more importantly, pretty easy to counter with just some simple ADS positioning. So we're not going to see that be too conducive, and more importantly, just not going to negatively affect the Rec guys too much. Mira will be the first defensive ban, as, again, generally come to expect on a map like this, especially for the Archives, and Armory Lockers take. And now the final defensive ban coming out here now. What are they talking about?
I hate him, man. I hate him so much.
I missed it. Was there anything else, or was it just that?
Fox is an enigma. That's all you can.
You got to respond to that.
No, I don't.
You got to say back to him.
I mean,
come on.
Fox is a beautiful man from Canada.
Oh, it's too nice.
I'm a nice guy.
I'll tell him.
I'll write you a note and just send it to him.
Oh, that's yeah. You're not allowed to pick that. So they'll quickly switch away from the Gridlock pick and go over to the Zofia, of course. As, in case any of you guys aren't aware, the new operators are banned out for a period of time after their release. This was a change that was made recently with the, not most recent operators, but the operators before that were added in, just to give the operators a little bit more time to see exactly how the player base feels about them before they are thrown into pro play. So we currently have the two new Australian operators, along with Lion, who is on quarantine, banned out from pro play.
Yeah, had to put the animal in his cage. A little bit too powerful for what everyone was willing to deal with, and I do like the fact that we do have that time of 3 months now to really look into operators after they've came out, so we can make adjustments so they're not too strong, you know what I mean? Sometimes you got to tone down the steroids for them before they do finally hit competitive. So it does appear that Reciprocity is going to choose the more aggressive side of things, as they are going to put the Pulse of Foxate downstairs, which this man runs the strangest setup possible. Extended barrel, red dot sight, and angled grip for that man, and they're going to have Laxing downstairs with him.
Two will be roaming around here at the start of the match, and more than likely keeping it that way due to their current chosen operators. Mark moving out is going to try to hold this corner angle against any early push onto the east side from the members of Scylla's Guerrillas, who are out on the attacking side for the first time. So let's see how they're able to fare against, again, another veteran team here like Team Reciprocity. And actually, Mex is already going to get popped down. Reload. Exactly was able to pull that off. Had to have been one of the players downstairs, I guess.
That was going to be Fox. Fox actually shot him through the soft wall. He's a punch hole over here in the teller's wall that he was able to take Mex down with. And Mex is currently bleeding out. And if you guys didn't know, or if you guys just watch Rainbow and don't play it too often, there was actually a patch a little while ago that made it to where your pickup health is no longer 50, it's now 20. So that is a massive, massive thing for Scylla's Guerrillas right now. Mex is not nearly going to have the gunfight potential that he once had.
A good find. Unfortunately, Rec probably won't even realize they have this advantage until it comes down to the actual Executor, but still, it will work into their favor when Mex is thrust into a fight that he'll almost certainly have to take on Ash.
Appears that Team Reciprocity is legitimately all over everywhere inside of this map. And Border, actually, strangely, a very small map in comparison to what it looks like. I mean, the building looks big from outside, but once you really break it down, this map is not that big. So roam potential is huge here, especially with these aggressive players of Team Reciprocity. Right now, Scylla's Guerrillas doesn't have any footing except for CCTV. They're taking gunfights on windows, and Reciprocity is just allowing them to run this timer out. They really don't have to worry about it. Box is going to run outside, and he's going to get paid in dividends for his temper will go down. Abaddon on the other end of things, though, will take down Skies. That means no more smoke.
Foxay still holding the top of the prime stairs right now, and a quick peek in from Mark to be able to take out Abinai, finding the trade for the loss of Skies just a few seconds ago, and putting Team Reciprocity back into a man advantage situation at 4v3. The rest of Scylla's Guerrillas still holding back right now, not wanting to commit themselves further than this, and unfortunately, not with a great amount of control to work off of here. They do, however, have the sidewall broken open and can try to play into that. It's not going to prove easy, especially now that Mark has moved into position right behind the half wall. Laxing, in fact, going to be able to spray, too, as the CCTV was never properly cleared out, or it was cleared out earlier, and they didn't realize he ran back into it. Laxing as well will be able to find Mex, the last man left alive. An easy pick against him with only 20 HP, so Reciprocity claim round number 1 of this map.
It's going to be a 3K for Laxing in the latter half of that round, and honestly, Scilla's Guerrillas, it does not seem like this is going to bode well for them. Team Reciprocity is playing a very, very aggressive roam game. And Foxe and Laxing all season have done very well at roaming together. Going to flash the Lord there, Mark. You can't do that to us, man. Come on, you got to lock them in.
They're really playing into the chat tonight, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are, man. They really are. In all chat and in Twitch chat and everything. I mean, that's why they are a crowd oh my goodness gracious. That's why they are a crowd favorite. I mean, they just play into the community, and it's voted them very well fan base-wise. I mean, people absolutely loved them. People loved them at Invite from all the way across the world, and it's going to be no different here, I'm sure.
A 6 picks into the smoke for defense will probably be noticed as not this specific operator, which it was 6 pick 2 pretty quickly when they go for the attack, and notice those evil eyes are no longer there, but if they can hide it until the late round, will be a good change-up for these guys to potentially throw them off a little bit. Not to mention as well that the Twitch is also brought into play here for Scilla's Guerrillas, and we'll have a little bit less things to be found. Now you won't have to deal with the evil eyes at all.
This blanket strat coming out from Reciprocity that the use pretty often here on Border, where they try and just get aggressive at every single door, especially at teams that don't have very good team play. And Scilla's Guerrillas definitely showing that so far, at least in the first round. We don't want to have any extremely early opinions, but we will be able to establish that later on. We'll see how the second round goes. But as of right now, their main issue is that they're just not playing together. Everyone is separated across the entire map, trying to take a separate gunfight with somebody on Team Reciprocity. And 9 times out of 10, that's going to bode a bad time.
See Abonai once again looking to find the early kill for himself. Fox going to have to change up position, though, as he does end up taking a massive amount of damage, all the way down to 25 HP at the beginning of this round. It's a miracle that he ends up surviving it, but he does successfully back away. And of course, the emphasis is still going to be here for Reciprocity on holding the top side of the map, making sure that Scilla's Guerrillas are not able to leverage that top side control, just like we were seeing in our previous match, be able to take the downstairs sites with relative ease. Abonai starts out with push towards CCTV. We'll try to potentially scout out any defenders that are positioned downstairs inside of Customs. Not much to be found on the inside there, however. So they've cleared that out. It's going to be back over to the west balcony. Start looking for options to push in the lockers.
Seems like the last round has been completely inverted, as Fox A is going to be the one under 20 health here. And Scilla's Guerrilla is starting to get some map control, which is good. Fox A going to continue to try and bandit trick the Armory Lockers wall here, as Temper's going to try and knock some concussions inside. He's going to impact the barbed wire, so he will re-establish an angle into Mini, but I mean, you have to get aggressive here at some point. Reciprocity will just sit here and bide their time and allow you to run this timer out. Nitro Cell going to fall outside, but not do much damage. He's only going to do damage to Temper, so we'll knock him down to half health.
Mark is continuing to hold the door angle, waiting for the time that he can finally find some impact with this. In fact, thinks he might have been able to push towards it there, but not the case, and nearly loses his life as a result of that. That's 2 very risky peaks, one by Mark, one by Foxe. That's nearly led to the death of 2 different players. In fact, might see that happen. The ADS will save him on the first grenade. They're going to try to blare it out now with flashbangs. It might have done the trick on the second attempt, but no. Laxing instead moves in for a first kill against Mex, taking the players out. Mark is acting as such great bait right now. Laxing finds a second kill on that. Mark even able to pick one up at his low HP before finally going down to Temper and putting us into a 3v2. The slight advantage to Rec right now.
Reciprocity does so well inside of this chaos, and Scilla seems to be wanting to give it to them. Lack of droning right now is punishing Scilla's Guerrillas quite a bit, as Laxton was able to rotate upstairs through archives, and how about his good buddy Mark behind half wall, and he found a frag because of it. That's going to make things very, very difficult here for Scilla's Guerrillas, as they only have 2 operators left, and they both kind of need a hospital right now. One at half health, and the other one a little bit under 20 HP.
Not going to be able to find a doctor, at least not on this side of Team Rainbow. And Fox A will find another easy pickup as Temper ends up walking right past him on the inside of the customs desk. Not loading will be able to get a trade, but it won't matter. Skies on the shoddy. Quickly trades it back out, and Rec once again take swift control. Another round, putting them up 2-0 here against Scilla's Guerrillas.
Skies with a little bit of that competitive love that we like to see inside of North America. Man, wish we had a little bit more of that. I always love that kind of stuff. But Besides the fact, Scylla's Guerrillas stalling out quite a bit upstairs on the Armory Locker's wall, and they tried literally everything. They threw everything but the kitchen sink at that half wall, and they still couldn't kill Mark. They finally confirmed it after pushing someone inside to face check it and see if Mark was downed or what have you. But by that time, Laxing had plenty of time to rotate to Archives and punish them for it. And that really just led to a absolute cascade of kills inside the kill feed, back and forth between both teams. But Team Reciprocity on the top of the pile and on top of the game.
Reciprocity are going to keep going around the wheel here now. Of course, over to Customs, I believe, for this round. We'll take a look at the stats, and it's been pretty much what we expect so far. Laxing coming out on top here. Reciprocity always known as that player in front with Foxy supporting him. Of course, things are slowly ticking down from there. Only 2 rounds in, of course, though, so kills are never going to be amazingly impressive after that. But Laxing at least giving us a bit of a show. A mobile show. And that, too. This ability to move around here on the defense and so clean up shop relatively quickly.
This is one thing that is something major to touch on about Team Reciprocity and their setup. Every single player more or less plays every single thing. I mean, last round, we see Mark on Jaeger. Mark is technically speaking supposed to be their support. He's roaming this round. Very next round, we have Foxy on Maestro. What was he playing the first round? Roam on Pulse. I mean, Reciprocity can do a lot of damage, and especially after that game last night after EG, I'm sure they have some bad blood inside of Rainbow Six Siege, where they want to prove their merit.
Boil that out for sure here, especially against a team like Scylla's Guerrillas. A match that, given again the experience between the two teams, they should be able to close out, especially given the fact that Scylla's does have a consistent amount of available online results and more importantly published results from another league that Rec can use to counter-strat in these situations. Slow start once again from Scylla's Guerrillas, primarily just focusing on kind of the droning aspect, not even really moving into the south balcony, the second floor portion of it anyway, wanting to take more time to scout things out. Really the first minute of play already going by, and Scylla's Guerrillas have barely even attempted to pop any windows or doors open. This is going to change now as they go directly for first floor control to start things off. Meanwhile, Mex, along with one other teammate, are going to work together. He's with the Zofia. Temper, they'll try to push their way back in from the east stairs over to the waiting room.
Passport open, detention open, everything open here for Scylla's Guerrillas, but just appears that they do not want any of these gunfights. They have not even begun to start on the upstairs. They've droned it out a little bit, but no more real pressure. Laxing inside of 90 could come up huge here if they do try to rotate down that main hallway. But no one, once again, even inside the building for Scylla's Guerrillas, it just seems like quite a bit of stalling and angle holding, and that's going to get them punished. Skies will be the first one to find a body, and it's going to be Abanai.
Yeah, the stall has to make the members of Rec believe that they're going to be holding angles against them, just waiting for this. So if they can find the appropriate angle to do so, oh, this is beautiful as well from Lax right here. The last moment. Waits till the defuse plant timer ticks down a little bit. Be able to move in, take out Nugs. We're going to see the diffuser go down for a moment as well. But one member of Scylla's Guerrillas is able to recommit himself into the site, retrieve that relatively quickly, of course, after taking a little bit of gas damage. Meanwhile, Sky's even trying to peek outside. They're going to get further aggressive now. Scylla's Guerrillas has to try and recoup or at least capitalize on some type of peek to find a trade, but they're not getting it done. Mark finds himself one pickup. Temper and not loading, however, able to trade that right back, making up for the losses, putting us into an even 2v2. Skies along with Foxy. Also going to be slightly out of position to try to make up for this, but thankfully they still find the first kill with relative ease. Not loading goes down. I believe the diffuser drops with it. Temper will be able to get that back, but now he's got to run outside of the building again, where we are going to be able to see Skies have a little bit of fun as well as he picks up the last kill once again from the Shoddy. Rec pick up round number 3.
You've got to love it. You just gotta love it. Punishing everything that Scylla is currently doing wrong is Reciprocity. The main thing right now is that they're just letting Scilla fall to their own devices. None of them want to try and get aggressive. Okay, that's fine. We'll let you open up really whatever you want to open up. That's okay, because we know you're not going to push it. Scylla's team play right now is more or less putting certain players on an island and just leaving them there. They let Laxing sit upstairs. They know that Laxing was up in that hallway. Obviously, you get the face cam flash after you die. Might have been a very weird angle of him going, oh okay. Oh, he's actually in 90 hallway, but Mex upstairs doesn't choose to get aggressive, and actually, he was getting barred off by Mark inside of CC. So this entire setup by them is just, okay, we'll give you that half of the map, we really don't care about it. This half of the map is ours, though, and we're not going to let it go.
So, But Scilla's Guerrillas having a rough time getting themselves started off here. Then I'll have to attempt another take here towards Armory. Reciprocity have now completed a full site rotation. No dropped rounds on any of the 3 sites they played on, so they are right back to where they started. And more importantly, they're right back to where they more than likely have the most confidence against Scilla's Guerrillas. This would be the site they've played the most, just in their overall pro experience here. General setup again. Nothing too out of the ordinary when it comes to the reinforcements and the overall setup that we're going to end up seeing from Rec. We'll probably try to play this the same way they did the first round.
The main thing right now for Scilla's Guerrillas is, look, you might lose this game, okay? I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. You might lose this game, but this is a massive, massive information potential for you to learn from your mistakes, be able to go back, rewatch this and go, okay, this is where our teams need to adjust. As we said earlier, these guys are in a minor league, which could possibly get them to the top end of competitive play if it finally comes to fruition for them. But right now, they're learning quite a bit from one of the top teams in North America.
More importantly, they can go back to the drawing board after this and build upon that. Like I said, regardless of the outcome of this match, to start off this round though, Temper is going to move very quickly to the inside of break room.
Okay.
I think he canceled that, right?
No, he put it down.
Did it go down?
I guess he's just expecting somebody to just full send it right into there and not see it. I mean, you can't see the laser from the door, so I know what he's going for here, but just a very interesting claymore, to say the least. His armory lockers will get ripped apart there by an exothermic charge, and that's going to be Nug's exothermic charge. As actually appears that Scilla's Guerrillas is trying to move a bit quicker. They have all of CC control, but once again, Reciprocity is no stranger to roaming, so you can definitely expect someone to try and get that flank off. They do have plenty of time, though, to try and bait out this utility of Skies, as he's really the only one you're going to have to worry about. You have plenty of soft destruction to try and get rid of those Evil Eyes, so they're actually going to see Fox down outside. Max will be able to confirm that in the funniest of a way, Twitch drones, which is actually the second least killed with item in the entire game. The least killed with item in the entire game is actually Goo Mines, if you didn't know, because we actually don't have Legion in this, which worked out quite a bit better. But utility will finally start getting baited out from Skies. He's going to get aggressive, and he's going to get punished for it. Nugs with the frag onto him.
Finally, this is where we are seeing Mex and the rest of Scilla's Guerrillas capitalize upon the aggression from Reciprocity. Retro, when push comes to shove, is able to pick up 1 kill, but on the revive, I think his hitbox sticks out slightly, so Nugs is able to take him down on the repeat. Puts everything on Mark in a 1v4. Plant's going to be going down in the next few seconds here as well. He does catch the play against him from his left side, but it's not enough. Mex still takes him down. Scilla's Guerrillas will get their first round on the board. On the 4th here, on the lockers push. As Reciprocity just take too many fights they couldn't afford to lose, and unfortunately lose pretty much all of them, putting them into a very unwinnable situation very quickly against Scilla's Guerrillas on their push through the western balcony.
They're still competitive players, guys. They can still left click and the bullets come out the gun and they hit you. I think that's something that they really didn't respect there in that last round, especially with Skies. I mean, he still had 2 toxic babes on him to try and delay this round further, but he immediately tries to get aggressive, tries to get that frag on the broken wall of armory lockers, and he gets punished for it, as well as the rest of his team basically following in suit, leaving Mark to a 1v4 over by Metal Half Wall, and he just gets punished by Mex as Mex hops through a window. Rock, hard place, dies to the guy inside of Archives.
So Rec will just wipe that one off and attempt the site again for better luck this time, and more importantly, a little bit more patience with their play. Aggressive duels that were taken by them end up breaking down, and Scilla's Guerrillas able to capitalize upon that. Only the first round for them, though. Still have a lot more to build up here throughout the rest of this half, but if we can see them do that and bounce back for another 3-3 half, we're in for a bit of an interesting ride when Rec end up switching over to their own attacking side. Foxy, of course, bringing the Pulse back into the play this time as well. Probably going to be seeing him roaming downstairs for a good amount of this round.
I would expect them to go back to doing exactly what they were doing earlier, especially since it's the exact same lineup. You're going to have Laxing on the Vigil. You're going to have Fox on the Pulse. Watch for them to get aggressive once again and prevent Scilla's from even gaining a foot inside of the map.
Let's see if that aggression ends up panning out well for them, specifically downstairs. It's not an area we end up having to see players defend out too often, or more importantly, play into too often on this site. Heavy focus on the upstairs can work here. On Reciprocity, chosen not to do that. Once again, Abinai with a quick entry here, moving himself into the east stairs. Quickly popping out at least 2 of the cameras, but this is where the roam game comes in big for Rec. Laxing immediately punishing Abinai as he tries to work down those stairs, knocking him out clean. Not a single point of damage done in response.
Those sound cues really helping out Laxing there as he recognizes the door gets ripped down from east, immediately peeks it from Passport, which, again, something that is asked quite often, especially by a lot of people in the community. Why are you there? Well, he's there to kill you, and he did a very good job of that as Fox is actually going to get taken down. It's going to be loading with the IQ as he will be able to take down the Pulse. He's trying to find and confirm his kill, but Laxing's already rotating over to try and punish someone. He notices that they do have the floor ripped up above. They can possibly get an angle on them, but he's going to be able to pick up Fox, and they're possibly going to be able to rotate out. Foxy wants to try and confirm this Nitro Cell. Will it be his revenge? No, it won't. It'll just open up more of the floor, a little bit more of reconstruction or redecorating, whatever you really want to call it, as he is going to have that 20 health. Mark's actually going to get shot from underneath once again, and he's going to be down, but they're not going to know that. Once again, points are not on for these competitive players in this setting. 2
players knocked, but can still be rezzed if needed here. As Foxy has already been brought back up once, and like he said, the lower HP certainly hurts out with that, but Temper can just use one of the Zofia charges to quickly take care of the down player in the corner. Seems they had a pretty good idea that they had that confirmed, so he'll go down without any response. Still an even 4v4, and unfortunately, not a whole lot of map controls has been gained just as of yet here by the members of Scylla's Guerrillas. Otherwise, kills like this from Laxing wouldn't be able to have it. They have this on lock, and they'd be on watch for these flanks. You can see a large majority of Scylla's Guerrillas still trying to play from either CCTV or just outside the windows, looking for anything they can use to grasp the inside of this site, but it's not happening. Laxing is roaming all over the place from the east stairs all the way over to the broken floorboards below CCTV. He's able to pick up kills left and right, knocking out yet another player and bringing it down to just Nugs and Mechs on the attacking side. Nugs even taking about half of his HP away there as well.
Oh my
turn it though. No, Foxy gets the better of it. Never mind.
I mean, they're literally everywhere. If you let these two run with no information basis, they are so very dangerous. Fox is still getting aggressive, and the man has less than 25 HP. He's going to finally get picked off by the F2, but Mex is not boding any better inside of the health department. 15 seconds left. He's going to have to get aggressive, and Skies will be the one to clean that up. So, Team Reciprocity, that'll be round number 4 for him. So we are going into round number 6. It's actually quite comical that Mark died to something called a lifeline. It's almost poetic justice.
Yeah. It's interesting to say the least. But Rec go back into control here now on their defensive half. One little bump in the road there on the lockers, and they go right back into controlling it on their second attempt, meaning they're going to head down to Vent Workshop for the final round of their defensive half before we switch sides and get to see what Rec's attack is made of here. More importantly, what Scylla's Guerrillas can bring to the table on their defense. Do need to put at least a second round here, I would say, Scylla's Guerrillas, if they want to have a hope of crawling back into the lead in the second half. We see a 5-1 from Rec, given the way, most important, that the majority of Rec's 1 rounds have gone. It's certainly going to be bad news in my eyes for the second half as well, just given the amount of rounds that Scylla's Guerrillas would need to crawl back from.
Well, there's one thing Reciprocity is fantastic at. It's controlling the tempo of the game. They want to play slow, you're going to have to play slow. If they want to play fast, you're going to have to play fast. That's why a lot of teams are punished by them, is because they have this control over how quickly the game pushes on. I mean, the beginning of that round right there, things were pretty slow. You know, nothing really happened. Scylla got control of what they really wanted to. But immediately after that, I mean, flip the switch. Reciprocity running over the entire map to catch frags. I mean, Laxing ran from upstairs all the way down to the stock room to pick up Fox, and then those two punished absolutely everything Scylla's was trying to do.
Amazing amount of mobility that we were seeing from some of the members of Reciprocity there. More importantly, more amazing that it went unpunished for so long too. Like I said before, Scylla's Guerrillas never really having a great amount of control to play with on second floor, meaning plays like that were allowed to happen. Need to try and hone in more of the map, and hopefully relatively quicker fashion, where they're going to find themselves in the same situation for this final round too. Even though the site, of course, is shifted downstairs, and it already looks like there's an increased focus on the downstairs pushes. We are going to see Temper move into Tellers. He does actually surprise against one of the members of Reciprocity. Retro goes down. He doesn't even know what hit him because the push is so fast. A literal rush from Scylla's Guerrillas to the inside. Skies, however, will be able to trade out onto Temper with those toxic babes, takes him out.
You have to stay consistent with the pressure, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to push loading into the back of Workshop, but Foxe has the hatch. He could possibly come up huge here if he's able to stop the plant. That's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to drop down off the top rope, but Abanai will be able to clean that one up. Brings the favor back to Scilla's Guerrillas, and we haven't really seen this so far. I mean, they have won one round. It was in pretty traditional fashion as Laxing is going to rotate over through CC. They have to try and find a frag downstairs. The person to worry about, especially if you're on the defense right now, is Abanai. He's Blackbeard. That gunfight going to be very difficult. Laxing going to start things off right as he will take down Mex, make this a 2v2, but he's going to pay the price for it. Laxing pretty low on health at this point. A timer just reaching 50%. You need just under a quarter in order to make things possible. Loading will find yet another kill. That Blackbeard will pay in full as Abanai takes down Mark. And that'll be round number 2 for them going into this rotation.
Perfectly played, and the perfect position really for the shield to come into effect there. Pretty much saves his life, as even you could see there from the last kill POV that he even got surprised for a moment that he didn't have the right angle to play into that last player. So it's a really good thing that he has that shield to save his life and turn the duel back around into his favor. Like you said, giving them the second round before we now switch sides. It's Rec on attack, Scilla's Guerrillas on the defense. And we will see if they are able to crawl back 2-4. They found that second round that I needed. They're still in the game in my eyes, especially with some fast play like that really threw the Rec guys off. Certainly weren't expecting anything as fast as that to work its way in through tellers. It threw them off big time.
Yeah, and Team Reciprocity almost brought it back, but they just could not rotate people fast enough. And the main thing there for Scilla's Guerrillas is they pushed from both sides. It was a pinch. It was a pinch. It wasn't just, hey, we're going to throw everything in bathroom and let it ride. Loading rotates in over through server and catches Skies completely off guard. The man is laying down on the ground behind the Workshop bench. Gets taken down, and that immediate aggression there from Scilla's Guerrillas, catching the team that is known for their aggression completely off guard.
Yeah, you can even see one of the members of Reciprocity too still was holding the hatch on the inside of lockers and was able to try and play down from that. But he jumps down to try and stop the first defuse attempt. And either wasn't aware of the second player in the corner or just disregarded it, hoping that he would have had time to adjust the angle. They were already set up at that point. They already had position established in the site. You know, 2 out of 3 players that were in the site already in post-plant positions by that point. So definitely wasn't too conclusive to that jump in there. Only further push the agenda into Scilla's Guerrillas' favor. But now we'll see, of course, if they can keep that going. They're on defense for the first time, meaning we're going to be back over at lockers as you generally expect the first round to go to. Very rarely do we see teams shift away from this and go for like a vet Workshop start, but it indeed is going to be here inside of the lockers. Once again, our defending team will start.
I'm expecting Reciprocity to more or less keep their same momentum as they have had throughout most of their games, and it's just that constant and consistent pressure. Every once in a while you have a little bit of burst of speed where you will see Laxing, Skies, or Fox just full send it somewhere and catch a couple of frags because of it. A surprise factor, something that Reciprocity is very, very good at. And with their recent play, they've gotten a lot better at still bringing it back to team play. I've been punished with that in the past, especially when they had Laxing on Thatcher, where as you can see Retro playing that quite often now.
See Fox nearly ending up in a bit of a duel that he might not have expected to take early on here with his push towards the western wall leading into the lockers. Not going to be able to commit to that though. Retro in the meanwhile makes the east push happen for himself, but won't really push it that far. Only goes in to clear out the stairs and the cameras inside of the prime hallway and the stairs itself. It looks like he's quickly backed out a few moments later.
Nothing unseen by Scilla's Guerrillas strat-wise. Is the really only peculiar thing that they have is they actually have a rotate over to the archives wall, but that's not going to be the main focal point for Reciprocity, as they are going to rip to shreds double wall over here for Armory Lockers. Plenty of time still to deal with this. They do have to worry about a small amount of utility in the fact of smoke, but he can only really delay 45 seconds if played to a T. So we'll have to see if Abanai has that in the weights.
It's going to be Mark moving in, getting a nice spot in the small office. Actually, a whole lot of players getting hard pinged right now here, giving Rec a lot of info as they move in. It's not necessarily the most reliable play, but hey, it's working. Lax starts things off well. Nugs and not loading along with Temper, however, tear apart the attack. 3 members of Reciprocity go down in just a second or two, and absolutely puts them back to square one here now. Down to Retro and Skies, who are separated, I believe, as well. No, they have managed to get together at minimum, so they'll be able to play into that. But now it's a 2v4. And they had all that intel from before, but it's gone now. Everyone from Scilla's Guerrillas will have either repositioned Orby in a much different spot. He would potentially try to play aggressively against these guys pushing in from the western wall now. It is going to be Skies pushing up. Gets a nice little clip against Not Luna to take him up. The immediate trades there from Mex. Retro puts Mex back down, though, and brings us into a 1v2. Everyone's looking towards this angle, though. He's trying to play in a small office. He's got an Evil Eye shooting him. A quick adjustment to take that out. Now he's been revealed. They know he's pushing in here. Try to sneak out the plant. Tries to fake it at first. Won't work. He doesn't have time for this. There's only 15 seconds left. And eventually, they're going to push him out anyway.
Well then. Scilla's Guerrillas going to win another round here. That's going to be round number 3 for them, and they're one step closer to bringing this one back. And I will say, they kind of sent Reciprocity back to World War II. I mean, it was the 2 Brits against everybody with 0 utility. They had 2 L85s, a Hope Wish, and a Prayer. So it almost worked out for them in the end, kind of, sort of, but Scilla's Guerrillas, with some smart team play, did not want to try and get over-aggressive on the man with the diffuser.
I mean, ultimately just like winning their fights. When it came down to the push, Reciprocity tried to go for a relatively straightforward play, just most of their players forcing their way in through the west wall, and it failed.
No roam clear. No roam clear at all. No drone set downstairs. You know that, if they're going to try and bring something to stop you, that's probably what it's going to be. They're going to bring smoke, and they're probably going to put somebody downstairs with a nitro cell. Very young team mistake here by Reciprocity to not at least check downstairs before trying to get aggressive with a plant.
Laxing, of course, had himself quite the game, nearly double the score of his next teammate up, and all the top fraggers together for Scilla's Guerrillas at this point.
I see what they did. Reciprocity had the IQ last round as well of Laxing, so they looked underneath to see if anybody was possibly going to be down there, trying to see if somebody was going to nitro cell them. And he more than likely didn't see anybody. Abinant probably was not on his heartbeat sensor because they can hear the man inside of offices. He was more or less roaming in the service area, or excuse me, the server area, rotated his way over to the front door, nitro cell up with the ceiling, confirmed his kill, and moved on with his day. And that is really what set the tone for the rest of round number 7. But we're in round number 8 now, and it's action phase. We'll see if Scilla's Guerrillas can try and chain this together once again.
Breck once again with the split. Probably going to be the same general push from their players, since they will need to go for Locker's control regardless. Once again, that is the name of the game and the way the teams will play. Some members from Scilla's trying to cut off, I believe, on the opener here, but not going to be too successful on that. He patiently waits and does not dive directly into the cross where he would have been caught off. At least have no knowledge on 1 or 2 players' positionings now. We can attempt to play off that when time comes for the actual push in from the south side to swing up to the north.
Already a minute in, and Scilla's Guerrillas still trying to make some adjustments to their setup. As you guys can hear, the telltale signs of the M590 ringing inside of offices. But Reciprocity already making their presence known. They do have Fox 8 downstairs in the bottom of Square, but I don't believe that Scilla's Guerrillas has any information on that just yet. No Valkyrie. Abinai could possibly be beating his heart, at least with that cardiac sensor, through a wall, but it seems that Reciprocity has more or less chosen the office take on these things. Foxay will finally find a head, but he's not going to be able to click it, as Nugs will peek out. Foxay getting inside of a gunfight, and Abinai with a rotate into Metal Hallway will take down Foxay. That means no more flank watch for the moment, but Skies will make up for it with a nice shot into temper.
Brings us down to the 4v4. It'll continue to evolve down to a 3v3. Mex and Retro managed to find kills. Mark picking one up as well, putting Scilla's Guerrillas behind. Whole lot of aim duels being taken all over the map right now, and it leads to 5 out of 10 players being eliminated just in the matter of a few seconds. Nugs has fallen back deep to the inside of the site, and we're going to see the majority of Scilla's Guerrillas, in fact all 2 of them, will play just deep in the site now, waiting for the push to come in from Rec, which will be quite dangerous. They'll be free to harass from the top side if they can set that up. Not really any soft destruction to play off of those, so more than likely won't be able to utilize that as heavily as they would like to.
Some serious drywall.
Now the push will move in from them through one of the softballs in main lobby. Can start to work their way into Workshop from here, and Laxon comes out on top with the first kill. Quickly eliminates Nugs. Quick adjustment finds them the second from Laxing as well in quick fashion, meaning Rec claim another round in their favor.
Going to be 5 rounds for Reciprocity, and it's going to be their first round on attack. And that's something that Reciprocity has been quite good at in the past, is more or less one of those choke holds, you know. What you do is you get everybody focused down on the site, try and cover every single exit, and just choke them to death inside of their own home. I mean,
Very,
that's
very
really what it is.
violent picture painted there.
You push everybody into just one area, and you just constantly
Yeah.
take gunfights and force the opposition, and it's extremely punishing because no matter where you move, no matter what breathing space you try to gain, there's always going to be somebody trying to shoot you. It's a very scary thing, especially when done appropriately, and Reciprocity did a very good job of that. All the way down to having drones inside of sight to be able to find people like Pulse sitting behind the server by the desk.
Yeah, and it's more importantly with the quickness that they were able to take these players out too. I think Scylla's Guerrillas also more willing to take a few of those duels, more than anything, kind of forced to take those duels, and ultimately Team Reciprocity kind of just coming out on top of quite a few of these to be able to close out with relative ease, especially when it came down to the 2v3 pinch they had there at the end, handled easily by Laxing, who continues to go off on a number right now at 13-5 over everyone else in the server. Once again, nearly double of the next highest players in terms of kills.
I think at this point in time, we can officially call this Laxing doing Laxing things. Because it's really him. Like, the man can literally make gold out of coal. It's ridiculous.
It's just Laxing playing in USN games, basically. Because he did the same thing on LAN at the USN Season 1
He did the
finals.
same thing, and he does the same thing in every single match. Every single match. There's hardly a game where Laxing at some point doesn't just pop off and try and destroy everyone. And he's doing it yet again. I mean, can somebody please tell me what his display settings are? I'd really like to know. You know, like, it's got to be the gaming chair.
You know the follow from him? Just hit him up.
Let's DM him real quick. I
Let the
need all of your
DMs.
settings. I need to know what you eat for breakfast in the morning. Please.
Then you can go ahead and add it to like the pro settings list and everything. Just leak it.
Yeah, this is what Laxing eats for breakfast. Here you go, pro settings. Done. Anyways, as we are getting deeper into this round, it looks like Reciprocity is taking things a touch slower. Trying to add some more team play in as IQ is doing some work downstairs. Once again, that is going to be Laxing. He's been finding a lot of success recently with IQ. I think it bodes him a lot better than Thatcher does, because Thatcher, you have to rotate back to the team, you have to help out your hard breacher. There's so much utility that, you know, Thatcher has to use, and oh no, that timing, it was so very close. He's actually going to do some damage to Fox up top, but not going to be able to confirm the kill.
No, fortunately not. Almost having the opportunity to pick up the kill at least and go 1-for-1 due to the delayed explosion, but does not end up happening. And as well, Laxing going to look a little confused out of that, like, oh, there was someone in that window. As he was trying to scout it out just a few seconds ago with his drone. Skies, meanwhile, has droned up to this point on his own, or at least with the assistance of one of his teammates. We'll be able to move in with Mark now and start blowing up the floor a little bit. Start to harass downstairs, which is the penultimate point of taking control of this part of the map. Break down one of the walls inside of the offices, too, to allow them to further push in and hopefully fish out the players that are still holding in lockers. It's looking like we've got 2 on the inside for Scylla's Guerrillas, and a little bit risky there for Skies. Almost gets shot back through the hole, which he's opening up right now. In fact, Abu Nahai making it through the hatch, sending a little birthday present over to Skies, takes him out and brings us down into a 4v4.
Yeah, C4 in the shape of a cake there for Skies as it lands in his lap, but it's not exactly the finish that he wanted. More explosive than sweet. So we are getting down dangerously close. 0-0 here, 40 seconds left on the clock. Reciprocity does not have a foothold on this map at all, really. They still have Retro upstairs trying to find an angle down into Tellers, but Laxing going to be on the outskirts of the map, as he is going to find Temper sitting inside of CC, actually Breaker, as he will get taken down. But Mark will be able to back that up as Abinai will go down, and things are starting to look to be in Team Reciprocity's favor, as they're literally just picking up stragglers all across the map. And Laxing's going to, yet again, come up with a 3K in the latter half of the round. Skies.
3 out of 5 Rex kills in that round had their opponent's backs turned entirely, and 2 of them literally peeked into it accidentally as well. So Scylla's Guerrillas just need to kind of rein in these situations a little bit better, as unfortunately they're walking literally into their own deaths multiple times in a single round. And unfortunately, that's not going to be too transducive to staying in this game for long, as now Rec, with their 6th round being picked up, enter map and series point. Quick little time to remind you guys, only best of 1s at this point in the USN. So the possibility here for Scylla's Guerrillas to be eliminated right now is very real if they do not start to make up things quickly here on their defense. The good news, however, they're back to Armory, at least, so it's a site they should know very well how to play.
one thing I do want to praise Laxing for, and if you guys want to model yourself after a certain aspect of play from someone, I would model this. Laxing, so very good at rotating back to help his team that immediately rotating out to try and find stragglers. This man is all over the map at all times. He does not just try and spear point one part. That's not going to help your team, especially when you're trying to play IQ. I mean, look at the amount of kills. 16 kills, ladies and gentlemen, through 9 rounds. That's almost 2 kills per round. That's absolute insanity. This man is punishing Scylla's Guerrillas for every little mistake that they make. If you want to try and learn something from a player, learn to be able to rotate away from your team at the proper moments in order to try and help them on the other half of the map.
It's like just under 2 KPR right now, actually.
Yeah, that's insanity.
1.8, I think, if I did the math right.
Yeah, quick maths.
It's probably wrong.
Twitch chat's probably correcting us already, as they probably already did earlier.
It's 1.76.
I got out my T86
Get him out of here.
T83, T86, what is it? I haven't.
T85.
Yeah, I dropped out of college. I don't know.
Hey, same. But we do have the guys from Rack out on the board, potentially for the last time in this match, if they can close out one more attacking round into their favor. To start things out, of course, a little bit of aggression into the bottom floor, actually. Retro already able to work his way into the east stairs, the quick little clear out here, and the Claymore to stop any would-be flankers. Now right back out and regroup with the team as they attempt to go for probably a more west-focused push, just judging by the silhouettes right now. We'll see how they attempt to play those. We're only a minute in, so they're still kind of in the info-gathering phase right now.
I just want to pay attention once again to this play of Reciprocity on the offense, because this is a big learning thing for myself as well as everybody else. And Nitro's still going to try and come out, but it's not going to confirm anything. Going to assume that was from not loading, trying to get an early kill onto the IQ, recognizing out that Laxing is very, very dangerous, and if you can possibly get an early kill on him in any manner, then you need to do it. But right now, Laxing is all the way across the map. He can possibly rotate in from east and get a quick flank off onto these defenders as they try to rotate into CEC, try and prevent this take onto the Armory Locker's wall. Half of the round still remains. This wall is open. Team Reciprocity seems to be taking this all the way. Laxing's still over on an island by himself, and this is what he boats so well in, since he is all the way over on east. And actually he's having his teammates pre-fire at him, so really decided he's on the enemy team for this. But Laxing going to be holding off office, so no rotate available. Is still no opening frag just yet for anybody. Sky's trying his best in order to make that a different factor, but plenty of damage taken off, and finally someone will fall. Under a minute left on the clock here, as Ebonai will be the first. Mex will follow it up to equalize.
Mind you, this is ultimately where the first push onto this site failed for the guys on Reciprocity. And once again, they're running into issues, actually working their way past the western wall here. These guys, you can see it, you just can't see the hitbox. Unless he's the back of, I think, a weapon, can't deal damage to that. He needs to wait for this player to actually peek up into the open before he can deal damage to it. But it's still a very, very dangerous thing to stay in an angle like that, especially if your opponent moves. Laxing having similar problems to the main stairs, but Foxe comes out on top with his frag. He's able to take out Mex, evening it out into a 3v3. Time is incredibly low here for Reciprocity, though. Only 20 seconds left to make their push to the inside, and they will eventually just have to force the issue here as they approach 15. They need enough time to plant this onto the ground. They need to get into a position where they can afford to do it at right before 0-0. They're getting so close to finding these kills, but they just can't make it happen. Nugs picks up 2. Laxing comes in on the flank, but it's not going to prove to be enough. Nugs with the third, a massive closeout on the round from him, and Guerrillas will survive for at least one more as they pick up their 4th.
This game is not over just yet. We thought that it was. It really looked like it was going to come down to the wire there. Laxing a little bit off on his time, and I'm really trying to point him out because he's been doing so well throughout this entire game. I mean, the main thing is that his time was just a little bit off there on that late flank. It's one of those things where you have to have that quick decision making and go, okay, am I going to go for this or not? Because the longer you wait, the less time you have to do it. Tries to go for it, and just too little, too late right there at the tail end of that. But Scylla's Guerrillas be able to stick into this and either bring it back and we go to overtime, which is honestly, I think at this point, this match almost deserves, and I think everybody at home wants to see that as well. Or Reciprocity will get things together on this very next round as they attack Ventilation Workshop and put 2-2 together, make it 7-4 for the victory.
A little bit downstairs that we go to once again and potentially decide things here, whether it's in Reciprocity's favor or Scilla Guerrilla's pleasure to take us to a final regulation round. Let's see how exactly things are going to play. We've got the dot combo coming in this time as well for Scylla's Guerrillas on defense. Both Rook and Doc going to be in play for this team. Not sure if you've seen that in previous rounds. We still have a lot of heavy defenders overall here. The Maestro also in play with Nugs. We saw pick up that massive 3K from the inside of Sandwich at the end of the last round too. On top of what we generally come to expect on this site. Jaeger, just your standard pickup. Of course, the Bandit being played by Abunai once again.
Nothing like a triple ACOG setup to possibly ring in this map here.
Really frustrate your opponents, yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to assume that the thought process through this is, well, you know what they really can't fight against? Pixeling.
A massive spawn peak like this. He messed up that hop back in a little bit there too, so it's a miracle that he survives it. But it's Doc, so he's still got plenty of shots to heal himself up with. It'll do just that.
And it's going to be a lot of utility used by the Doc. Granted, it's mostly selfish utility. You see it used sometimes on his teammates, but it's mostly for when Doc gets aggressive and either wins a gunfight or very, very closely loses a gunfight to where he's very low on health but somehow gets away. But Mech's going to use all that utility pretty early on. So Reciprocity still in the driver's seat here as they are going to recognize out that there are definitely people playing upstairs, and why wouldn't you? It's Ventilation Workshop. As Reciprocity's main goal right now is going to be CCTV. They've already gotten control of that. There is a few stragglers upstairs roam-wise as Mex is playing upstairs with Jaegers. You guys can hear Temper's report of his weapon ringing true over on the other side of Armory.
It is going to be Rack once again, biding their time more than anything with this. They lost the last round because of an overcommitment to this site, and more importantly, an inability to pick up kills on players over by the lockers and the small office itself. This time they need it way earlier on in the round. Thankfully, they have way less players to deal with, more than likely, on the next room for themselves. Most notably is going to be Abunai, but he is found out very early. It looks like he might have been actually peeked slightly without realizing it, so Skies will pick him off there.
They're immediately going to drop back to site. Do not want to try and stay in contention too often. Actually, as soon as I say that, I'm going to eat my words as Mex will stay upstairs, try and keep things on the aggressive side of the coin. Temper also going to be across over inside of Archives as Mex is actually rotated all the way over into half wall.
And I don't think they know he got here, so I think this is actually going to be a big surprise, and we still end up seeing Rec primarily push into the office. Of course, if he peeks, that'll make it a dead giveaway. Oh, and he has the lineup for it there too, and he will be able to put together one kill. The problem is at the cost of one of his teammates. Temper is going to get knocked out. This should be a very good nade. Oh, Max still has the angle. He does actually get traded from it, but he's able to self-res with a shot, it looks like, getting himself back up.
Yeah, that last syringe really coming in clutch instead of healing himself to his full HP. Plant now going down, and it will be confirmed by Mark. Not going to jump off of that, so it is going to be a 2v3 loading. Very, very low HP, and he's going to get taken down. It's going to be all left up to Nugs, Alda by his side, trying to deal some damage to Mark, but Mark will peek into it. He removes the head of Nugs, and that's going to be GG in chat, as Team Reciprocity will win this one, 7-4.
So, both of our veteran teams coming out on top of their opening matches once again, with Reciprocity winning it one round cleaner than we saw Rogue do against members only, taking things 7-4 over the top. Both teams playing on border as well. I mean, they both get a nice amount of warm-up. I wonder what the third match's map will be when they play each other. But of course, we'll wait until we get into that match to talk about that a whole lot more. Laxing, though, with a heck of a game at 16-6, plus 10 overall. Just a massive individual effort from him, especially on the defensive half for these guys, so they were really able to close it out. But still, a great fight put up once again by Scylla's Guerrillas, our challenger team, moving in here, nearly able to at least take things to overtime, as some of the cracks in the Reciprocity attack was starting to show there towards the end.
Yeah, they finally got it put back together, though, and I think the main takeaways there from Scylla's Guerrillas is that they did so well against a very aggressive playstyle, and that's something that they have to deal with a lot in their current league, so I think that they're going to learn something from it. The main thing, especially with Reciprocity on their defenses, is that any of them could be anywhere at any given time. You guys will see it throughout this entire highlight reel, especially for the defensive side, obviously, that they are literally everywhere. Their team will be across the map. This man will be all the way over on East Stairs trying to frag somebody.
Or as you can see there in our last clip, our players from Reciprocity having some fun at the beginning of the match too, as they were able to take some confident final round kills there, final round victories for themselves. It was looking like we would see them really cut ahead here and have a relatively easy match, but that didn't seem to be the case, especially after we saw this rushed play on Workshop work out so well for Scylla's Guerrillas. It kind of devolved from this point forward here, and Reciprocity started to show a lot of issues, allowed for them to nearly trade things back, ended up going 4-2 at halftime, of course. This is where originally we were able to see Rec start to cut ahead a little bit more, but not without the struggle back from Scylla's Guerrillas.
Scylla's Guerrillas had overall a good showing. Early on, I believe that, truly everyone did not think that this was going the way that it did. Only losing by 3 rounds to a top 3 North American team is nothing to shake your head at. So, after that, say the main thing for me at least on Reciprocity's side was laxing is still absolutely ridiculous. The man's game sense is insane. Rotating all the way across the map in order to win multiple of those rounds. You guys saw it in the highlight reel right there. Rotating all the way on the outside balcony and picking up 3 kills in the latter half of the round in order to get them another round win. It's truly insane.
Yeah, to be fair, we saw some pretty impressive play for some of the individuals on the guys from Scylla's Guerrillas as well, specifically that 3K from their Maestro on one of the initial defenses they put up towards lockers to close out the round there. Was some interesting stuff, or some very cool stuff to witness. Nearly brought them back into the game, but it just wasn't enough towards the end of the day there. It was that last hold that we saw on the inside of, of the workshop just tended to be enough for the guys on Reciprocity to push themselves ahead, and as such, they close out on that matchup, now earning them a spot in the finals against Rogue, which, like I said before, is also going to be a best of 1, and we'll see 2 teams of relatively equal reputation at this point clash, which should make for a very fun affair too, especially given, like we've talked about many times here on the broadcast, the Reciprocity playstyle that they bring to the table.
Yeah, I think that last matchup for Rogue will definitely warm them up for what's to come. Members only having a very, very good showing against Rogue. They pushed them to the absolute limit of regulation. Granted, didn't have the overtime to be able to look at and go, oh, this was very, very, very close. But, 7-5, once again, nothing to turn your nose up to.
Yeah, and it's going to be even more interesting considering that both these teams actually recently played each other too. So there's a relatively, I think it's only about a week or 2 ago that we saw these guys actually clash against each other in another matchup. So it's going to be interesting to rehash that once again. But before we get to that, of course, Stokes has another interview ready with one of the members of our winning team. So let's see who's waiting from Reciprocity.
I'm going to guess Skies. Oh, it's actually going to be Hopes. Hey, buddy, how are you? How you doing? I'm doing fantastic. I hope you're doing well at home as well. So, only 3 questions for you here, and I hope we can delve into the mind of Reciprocity, as you are more or less the brains of the operation, I would say. So, first off, do you guys more or less just put Laxing on an island and allow that man to do whatever he wants, or is there kind of a method to the madness behind it?
So the first round, we decided we were going to let Lax and Fox roam, and it kind of worked out. And then later on in our armory, we decided we were going to do a hard hold and triple and fountain, but that didn't work out. So we just switched back to letting Lax and Fox do their thing, and it worked out. So that was our methodology behind it. But Lax is always making big plays for us, whether it's attack or defense. So we just kind of let him do what he wants.
Awesome. That seems that it's really brought up dividends for you guys over these last few play days, as well as in this game right here. Now, going into Scylla's Guerrillas, I'm going to assume the prep work was, okay, it's a younger team. We have bottomed them from CL, but we really don't have anything else to go off of. Did you think that they were just more or less going to fall into the same, not rut, but same play style of their teammates or other teams and that aggressive play style?
So on attack, I would say that was really the case. But on defense, they kind of had some patterns. And we were able to kind of predict their armory and their vents pretty easily. But on attack, there was no rhyme or reason or pattern to what they were doing, so we were just kind of winging it there.
Yeah, it seemed that they really couldn't decide what they wanted to do with their offensive takes. It's like, okay, we're going to take this really slow. We're going to try and get some information. And then that very last round, they go, okay, we're just going to take Zofia and push Bathroom as hard as we possibly can. And, it worked out for them, but it was in a very, very weird fashion.
No, I agree.
Yeah. So last question for you, Hopes. Since coming onto the team, what has been the highlight for you, besides Invite? I'm going to take that away from you. I'm taking Invite away from you. What has been the highlight of team improvement for you as the coach?
Well, I guess just meeting the team for the first time. I guess right before Invite, I flew out to California in the former C9 team house and just kind of bonded with everybody there. And we just kind of got along and kind of created some very unique strats that week in particular for EG. and we try to do that each week.
Like 90s mirrors, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So we try to do that each week as much as we can. But I think that's just the goal, just striving to get better.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's always very, very nice to have a brotherhood around you and be able to work on things wholly. And the nice thing about that is you can present new ideas and really spitball with your teammates instead of going, okay, I'm pretty sure this is going to get shot down, and I don't want them to absolutely trash my idea right off the bat. And I'm going to assume that's where a lot of these strats have came from, whereas just, you know what, why don't we just put mirrors inside of 90 hallway and have somebody hold these stairs?
No, I would say that's the case. We kind of theory craft a lot, and I think we're probably going to do more of that in the future, but right now we're just happy with where we're at. I mean, unfortunately, we didn't go to Milan, which we really wanted to, but I think there's plenty of work to be done in the future, so
absolutely,
we're looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And honestly, that match last night, everyone knew going into it how good of a match it was going to be, and you guys did not get blown out. I know everyone says it sucks to lose in such a close match, but truly, you guys put on an absolute show, and no one expected anything less. So I want to thank you, Hopes, for coming on here and having a conversation with me, and maybe I'll see you after this next matchup with you guys against Rogue. We'll see you very soon.
Yeah, hopefully. I'll see you soon.
All right, and thank you very much, Stokes, once again for that great interview. But that is, once more, going to close out our match for the day, ladies and gentlemen. We've got one more to show you, though, of course, before we end up closing out the entire show for the day. And that's going to be between the two winners of our previous matches here. We are going to see Rogue face off Reciprocity. It's coming up right after this here at the Rainbow Six USN.